So today we are joined by my sister, my Brody, my one and only Josephine Mensah. How are you doing,
Hi
Josephine?
everyone. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So Josephine, on the podcast, we usually ask people how old they are so people can gauge where they're at in life in their 20s. So how old are you, Josephine?
I am at 22 years old.
Jeez. And what are you doing at the moment in life?
So currently I am a student in my final year. I study interior architecture and design, if you want to be fancy. But yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment.
And what sort of inspired you to choose interior architecture and design as a degree?
Well, at first, I guess I wouldn't say when I was younger, but like before, what do you call it? I wanted to do architecture mainly because I was good at maths and I was good at art. And I feel like a lot of people kind of just put the two together and be like, architecture. So I was like, yeah, architecture. But like when I actually started doing the research and stuff into like the actual course, I was just like, I don't think I can do 7 years on one subject in uni.
Wait, 7 years?
So
wait, 7 years you have to wait. So it takes you 7 years to become an architecture? Or is it a 7-year degree or?
No, so you do like what do you call it? So you'll do like the 3-year bachelor's degree, and then you'll do 1 year placement. After this, I don't really know how the other years work, but then you come back for like masters. And I think there's like other stuff like that after that mix up the 7 years. But sometimes like they say on average it takes people actually 10 years to complete, because like people will go into like the work placement and also they're like, I like working, so they'll continue doing that. But some people just don't complete the whole thing because it's long. So yeah, and I was just like, yeah, that's just a bit too long for me. Like, knowing myself, I can't stick to doing one thing for that long. So
yes,
yeah. But yeah, so I was just like, that's not for me. But I was just kind of like, I have no idea what I was going to do, especially like applying for uni. Like there was a time I was going to do engineering, and I was just like, thank God I did not do that, because
it's a whole different world. It's
not for me.
It's not for you, girl.
Yeah. So at this time I think I was like picking between interior design and architecture, but I was just kind of like, I feel like if I go with interior design, I don't feel like all my capabilities will be used to its full potential. So I was like, but then luckily I found a course interior architecture, and I was like, it's basically like the perfect blend of the two. So that's how I'm doing this now, basically.
And when you picked your degree, did you sort of have a clear vision as to what you want to become? So like actually at the moment, do you know what you want to do after university? And have you always had that sort of at the forefront of your mind when you chose your degree?
I might answer the other way, but but yeah, at the start of uni, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was kind of like, I'm just gonna choose this and see where it takes me in life, I had no idea. Yeah, as in like going through like my course, I definitely knew I was like, okay, I don't want to be an interior designer. But and that's the thing about my course, because it's not interior design, like you're able to go into loads of different things. But recently, so I guess now I am interested into going like into retail design or like branded environments, like designing branded environments, like experience design. That's kind of what I'm interested in at the moment. But yeah.
Let's go. And how have you sort of found, I guess, because you are in your final year and it's been a year of a pandemic, everything like that, how's that all been for you? And you did dissertation as part of your degree as well too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how's all that experience been for you?
It's been the ghetto.
The ghetto? It's been the ghetto. Why has it been the ghetto?
This year, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? When I actually say I can only thank God that I'm actually still here, like right now, because this year has been a joke. I mean, like, I don't know, it's just been weird, because like you would think that you'd be able to contact your tutors more easily, but it seems like it's even harder. They ain't be answering no emails, or they answer them late, and you're just kind of like, this is not helpful.
I need help. I need to know what's going on.
Yeah, and even especially like with my course, because like we need to be like making things, or like using certain software and all of that stuff, and like you need space. And me, I've always like throughout uni, I've always kind of been someone where like I want my room or like home to be home where I can come and relax. Second year was, the library was basically my home. I was there till like 5 a.m. in the morning, 7 a.m. in the morning.
To send me snaps back.
Like that was my home. So like when I knew I came home, I was coming home to sleep. I was coming home to relax.
Yeah.
But being at home trying to do uni, it's been a struggle because like you just easily lose motivation because you're just kind of like, you just want to relax because you're in that relaxed setting. So it's been kind of hard to kind of get into that flow, especially because so last year I did a placement year, but it didn't really go to plan. So like for most of the year I was just at home because one of Corona and just kind of like how my placement year went. But so I was legit, I had like 8 months of just doing nothing basically. So I kind of just got used to I had to get used to not doing anything, but then coming back into uni, I'm like, okay, there's so much I need to do. So even that transition, it was something else on its own. So yeah, it has been hard. It has its challenges. Like I feel like definitely this year I've been the most stressed I've ever been during uni, even though second year, like I said, I was doing 5 a.m. shifts and all of that stuff. But yeah, this like it's definitely been mentally draining. And I feel like I've had more, like I think this year was the first year I actually had like a breakdown where people were like, oh yeah, I had a breakdown. Like this year was my first year where I actually had a breakdown. I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. What is going on? So yeah, this year's been tough.
But did you feel like even when you had that breakdown, like, did you feel like there was support, like people you could reach out to, would that be friends and family? Or I don't know if I'm sure your university probably has like a wellbeing center. Like how did you sort of cope with that when you were overwhelmed and stressed?
I think it's definitely been helpful. Like, for example, one of my like housemates, she's been great. Like, we check on each other, just knock each other's door, like, how's it going? Is everything okay? And like when we're both kind of just like we're just not feeling it, we're like, it's okay. You relax. You what you need to do. That's fine.
Shout out to Brittany.
Brittany, my girl. But even like as much as I know this is like hard for universities as well, like I know unis are like in this time they're kind of like I don't even know what we're doing, to be honest. So I do understand that. So there has been times where, especially like my tutors, they have been understanding. It's kind of like if I come to them in my tutorial, I'm like, I actually haven't done any work for this, and it's just kind of like, that's okay, that's fine, So it's nice to know, okay, there's actually like support, or like they kind of they understand it. They're not expecting us to be doing all of this stuff when it's kind of like, look up what's actually happening. But yeah,
that's good. And sorry, just going back to the your placement year as well. What role did you do for your placement year? I know it was sort of cut short because of Corona, but I guess the sort of first 3 months you had there, what was it like for you? And did you feel like, and what was it like, I guess, being in the real world for a bit from your university life?
So I worked at an architecture firm. I was like an architectural assistant or intern, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I kind of did like basic things, to be honest. But like it was interesting though. It was very interesting. I mean, yeah, even where I went to do my placement, it was, all I can say is it was interesting. Questionable, questionable, but interesting. But it made me realize how, I don't want to say like the working world is a joke, but as in like people are actually people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess like throughout school and like university, I was like, okay, you need to be professional, you need to do so, all of this stuff. But then you go to the working world, it's kind of just like, these are actually just normal people. Do you know what I'm saying? They're just doing a job. So yeah, I feel like that was quite interesting to see. But also it's kind of like, it is intense because like I even question like, how did we used to do like school days, like start like get to school like 8:30 all the way to 3, like waking up to go to work for 9 a.m. and I did my placement was 9 to 6 and not even 9 to 5, so 9 to 6 5 days a week. It took a toll. It did a lot. And yeah, so waking up for that was a struggle. So I'm just like, wow, people actually do this like every day.
Like, it's life. Welcome to real life, people. Welcome to real life.
People do for life. And I was like, rah, I'm definitely not ready for this. So I'm even happy I had that gap year placement year, because it kind of, compared to like some of my other course mates, like they're probably like working now, whereas I'm like, okay, I still have some time to, just before all of that happens. But yeah, I feel like I guess it does teach you in terms of like I don't know, especially like with my, let's say my area of career or whatever, I forget the career path or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Like, because you're working on projects that are like actually for people, like these are like, this is actually gonna affect someone's life, or like this is actually gonna, like, this is for someone. You're kind of like, it's not just like a concept thing or like a fake brief that we get where it's just kind of like, oh yeah, like especially in uni, well, at my uni, you're kind of encouraged to be very like creative and all of this stuff, but like realistically, you can't draw like design something that's just gonna pop out of a building and be like, yeah, this is what I want. So yeah, I guess it just brings like a real perspective to what I do learn at uni, if that makes sense. But
yeah,
it was also nice to know that a lot of the things I am learning at uni are being transferred into like the jobs that I want to do, or like the working world. So
and were you able, even during your pandemic year, your placement year, your placement year, did you sort of stay in contact with others who were also doing placements at the same time as you, or who maybe had a bit of a longer year? Were you sort of either nervous to sort of talk about your own experience, since you may have had a shorter placement compared to others?
Yeah. So I guess let me just briefly explain what my placement year was basically. So I found a 3-month placement, which was from September to the end of November. And my plan was to look for like to have another one, because I wanted to do like 2 within the year. So like as soon as I found that first placement, I was also applying for another one. And even whilst I was at that placement, I was applying for another one. But so that's basically the situation. So I have one placement, looking for another placement. And then so obviously I finished that placement and I was at home still looking for this other placement, still looking, applying, going to interviews, applying, all of this stuff. And then when I finally got my second placement, that's when like Corona was kind of like at its peak. And my uni was just kind of like, yeah, you can't go.
You can't go anywhere, girl. You're gonna have to stay here.
No, that ain't happening. We ain't gonna do that. So I was like, okay. But for example, I knew 2 other people in my course, so 2 of my other friends, they also did placement, and because they were in London as well, so like let's say placement tutor, we will have the same placement tutor. So like sometimes we like talk about like each other's experiences, and it was kind of like, even that was interesting, like each of their experiences that we're going through. I was like, as much as like they had they completed the year, they still had their own like struggles, even just with the placement, or like there was their own issues that happened or occurred because of like how the working place works. And I'm just kind of like, rah, like this is mad. Because there was a point where what do you call it, I think like some of the people on placement were asked to like write a blog of like their experience so far, blah blah blah. So I was kind of just looking through that, and this was a time when I was just at home not doing anything, and what do you call it, reading through it, or like reading through what everyone had done. I was getting a bit discouraged, because I was just like, bro, like I haven't got enough experience like these people, or like this is not gonna like help me like when I'm applying for jobs, because obviously it's always kind of like, oh yeah, you need minimum 1 year experience or 2 years experience in this. I'm just like, bro, like where are we gonna go with this?
I need a job to get the experience.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit discouraging, because I was just like, yeah, this is not gonna put me at the forefront, because I've only had 3 months experience. But it was just nice to have like some friends, even like friends that don't even go to my uni, like some of my other close friends just encourage me, like, you know what, it's actually okay, because at least you have something, and you can like, there's definitely something out there for you, like you're not just going to be sitting there, like you're going to end up in something. So yeah, it was kind of just encouraging to have people around me, instead of just like, especially during the pandemic, instead of just sitting in my own thoughts and kind of just dwelling on that. So yeah.
That's good. And now that you've been at uni for like what, 3-4 years now? If we
coming up to 4 years.
Placement year. Coming up to 4 years.
3 years, 3, 4, whatever you want to call it.
And how would you sort of explain your uni experience? Like, what has been sort of good things you sort of learned from it, or do you feel like it sort of has developed you for the real world? Yeah.
What have I learned from my uni experience?
Take your time.
What have I learned? I don't even know.
Or what has been sorry, go on.
Okay.
Or what has sort of been like, what have been sort of good moments you've enjoyed? What have you enjoyed about uni? Let's start with a positive. What have you enjoyed? What's been great about going to uni for you?
To be honest, I've enjoyed some of the friendships that I've had at uni. Like, yeah, just knowing, because you know how people are like always kind of like, oh yeah, you know, uni, long life friends, that's where you're gonna find your long life friends and all that stuff. But I'm just kind of like, and that, like, for me, I'm like, part of that is true and part of that's not true, because like do you know those people where you're just like, okay, you're actually a friend for a certain time, not like after, but like whilst you're friends with them, you're like, you're actually just like my uni friend, and
that's it. You could just say that's what you are.
To me. But no, I've actually enjoyed the friendships, especially like with me, what do you call it, I feel like when I was growing up, like making friends was always something like I kind of struggled with, especially because like I kept like primary school, I kept moving school, and obviously when you're young, it's kind of like, okay, I'm experiencing new people. And then I went to secondary school. That was like the first school I ever like started and finished. So I was like, okay, so like even during secondary school, I was always kind of like jumping around different friendship groups. So I never was really like belonging to something. I was kind of like, and I was kind of like, you know what, I enjoyed that, like, because I like being able to like communicate with different types of people. I don't want to just be, you know, one person, but obviously it's also nice to have kind of like that group of certain people. There was also like church, and then I kind of like had my girls, my close girls that were now like, you know, close to everything. So when we were even going off to uni, we were kind of like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss you so much. I'm not gonna do without you and all this stuff. So starting uni, it was kind of like, okay, no one knows me. This is a whole new thing. So I was like, okay, maybe we're all in the same place and maybe it'll be easier. But I feel like in my first year, it was still a bit hard. Like I had my friends, but like, I wouldn't say there were people where I'd be like, oh yeah, let's hang out. Or like, I didn't feel like I could do that. I didn't feel like I was on that level with them. But then second year was great. Like I enjoyed second year. Like despite all the stress uni work was giving me, I actually enjoyed second year. Like just hanging out with people, you know, having like those group meetings, having like
group meetings that, as you do, you know, group meeting in the club, as you do.
But yeah, as you're like just like socializing with people, it was just nice, you know, because it's kind of like just taking a break from uni work. It's like, gonna go to my friend's house, you know, eat some food, you know, go hang out and all this stuff. So yeah, having friends was quite nice. And I guess living on my own, I've enjoyed living on my own.
Yeah, we know. We know. Don't even want to come back. We know.
You know, but no, I've enjoyed living my own, because especially like, you know, growing up, we've always kind of been together. You know, we've shared the same room since we were like,
same room for how long?
Yeah. So it was just nice having like my own space where I could do what I wanted to do. You know, just do what I wanted to do and kind of just living on my own. I don't know. I just kind of like that independence, which I didn't think I would, to be honest, but I just liked like being able to just look after myself. I don't know, I enjoyed that. And
would you say there's any sort of skills you sort of picked up whilst being at uni, or it could be skills or experiences that you've learned that you're like, oh yeah, I'm quite grateful about this, or it's been like, oh yeah, I wish I never sort of went through that? That makes sense.
I'd say handling my money has been something that's been like a great thing to learn, because especially, you know, us, our family, you know, it's not always easy. It's not always easy. You know, so you got to
survive, got to
survive.
Got to fend for yourself, you know. No bank of mommy and daddy.
Bank of mommy and daddy.
No, we got to keep going.
So it's legit like, so student finance is legit what I was living off. So it was kind of like, okay. And I feel like, because for example, before uni, I'm not saying like I had a lot of money, but I knew that, okay, well, I had to use it wisely. So coming to uni now, I'm getting like all this money. I'm like, cool, I know I can't just spend
it out like that.
You know, like I even remember hearing stories of people were like, I think this was like the third week of uni, I'm hearing someone's buying some expensive coat. It's like most of their student finance on this coat, and it's just kind of like,
and it's just, I don't understand. And then going into overdraft, and it's like, what?
Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of just like, let's be smart about this. So I guess like, over the years, I've definitely been more wise with my money, which has been good. Because I feel like with me, not that I don't understand the concept of money, but like, I feel like, I don't know, to me, like £100 is still a lot to me, if that makes sense. Whereas like other people are like, I could just spend £100 easily like that. I'm just kind of like, my heart, I just can't do that. So I guess in some cases that's good, because I'm not just spend as much as like there's things that I probably want to get. I'm not just spending it recklessly or anything like that. And I guess like, so then when there's certain things that I'm like, okay, I need this, I'm like, okay, you can actually treat yourself, because you know, you deserve it. It's okay. And like also like budgeting, like I think since second year I've kind of been like, okay, this is my weekly spend, this is how much I'm spending. Then like whatever I don't spend, I put in my savings, and I've kind of just like continued to do that. So I mean, obviously there's those weeks where it's a bit like, it's like, ooh, you know, but so that's something I've definitely learned. Yeah, I forgot the question.
That's all right. And were there any sort of societies you sort of joined at uni, or any hobbies you were like? What's life outside of I guess
Outside
life
of,
at uni, but outside of your degree? What's that like?
yeah, outside of my degree. So yeah, I joined so I guess from my time at uni, I've been part of two societies. So Pensa, which is like a Christian society, and then gospel choir, which was gospel choir, you know.
Makes sense.
Which was also nice, because I don't know, I thought, yeah, like I said before, I like being around different people. So like if all I knew was my course mates, I don't think I would have gotten sick of people easily. I'd just be like, get out of my face. But no, yeah, it was like being part of something else and like having a community, and not only that, but like also serving. So like in second year, I was on both committees for both societies. So it was like nice, also giving back, serving, meeting new people, all of this stuff. So they've been enjoyable. Yeah,
that's good. And as we all know, but as I know, you are in a relationship as well right now at university. So how's that been like? Because I said it sort of started a couple of years ago as well. So how's that been like balancing that and the degree?
It's funny because when I actually finished, it basically started at the beginning of uni. I mean, it didn't actually start. No, ignore what I've just said. It didn't start at the beginning of uni. It's because I met them at the beginning of uni-ish, or like in the first year of uni. But yeah. So my boyfriend, we don't go to the same uni. He goes to a different uni, which is up north, which is quite far. Like my uni is south of the UK. His uni is kind of up there. So yeah, long distance.
Oh yeah,
a bit of a matter. Yeah. So it's been interesting. Yeah, I guess like the hard part is obviously like the long distance, not being able to see him often, all of that stuff. Like, you know, it's just not it. It's really just not it. But
well, you guys have made it this far.
Yeah, so. We made it. You know, nearly coming up to 2 years. So we thank
Congratulations.
God. We thank God. But yeah, no, I mean, even before I get into that, actually, I just find it funny because he always says this. I don't actually remember saying this, but this probably was my mindset. Well, apparently I was just like, yeah, I'm not getting into a relationship after I'm done with uni. Which I still find funny that I said, but apparently I said it. Anyway, but yeah, and I was just kind of like, lol, that is so funny because look at me now.
I mean, and it's before you're still at uni, right? So
and I'm still at uni, so you know, we thank God. But yeah, it's been interesting. I guess it's just maybe like, especially during the pandemic as well, because like, yeah, obviously we started before the pandemic, and then the pandemic the long distance just made it harder anyway. But I think it's just made me learn the importance of communication, and I guess like in any relationship, like communication is definitely like the key thing for sure. What do you call it? Just to like keep that connection, keep it going, because you know, there may be times in life where you legit can't just rely on that face-to-face interaction. Like, for example, the pandemic, you know, people, like, you needed to have that good communication. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's something that's definitely been key.
Have those little Zoom dates.
You know, I actually haven't done that, you know. But what do you call it? What was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't know. Like, especially like with the long distance thing, I feel like as much as it'd be great for him to be here, and like, you know, there's those days I'm like, oh, I just wish he was here. Yeah, I wish he was here. But I'm actually happy that we don't go to the same uni, because I don't know, I'm just someone like, I like my space, and it's kind of like I'm actually at uni to do a degree. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, and you're at uni to do a degree, and I don't want to be the thing that stops you from doing well, and also, you know, vice versa. So it's kind of like, it's good that we have that distance. So at least when we know, okay, we can do work. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting journey for sure. But yeah.
And do you feel like and so now that you're sort of towards the end of your university life now, do you feel like you have been, or you are sort of prepared for the real world, entering it after university? Take your time to think. Are you ready?
Am I ready for life? Do you know what? Yeah, there's part of me where I'm like, yeah, like I'm ready. because I feel like, especially like growing up, a lot of the things that I've learned, I guess more just about living.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got that. Oh, like I've got like the foundation of those things. So after uni, I can just build upon those things. But then there's a part of me like deep in like, raw, like this is actually the end of my academic career. Like after this, I actually have to do things. Like it's not just like, okay, you carry on to the next
Just
level.
carry on, get that summer, like summer. This is your last summer holidays, girl. You better enjoy it. You better like
the summer. Yeah,
last one.
Like, I mean, I want to travel, but I don't know how likely that's looking with Corona. But like, yeah, I'm just kind of like, raw, like this is actually it. Like I'm actually a full grown adult. Like the fact that I'm even 22, like, and even people remind, like sometimes I forget that I'm 22. I'm just kind of like, oh, like I'm actually 22, not 21, 22.
22. Massive difference.
Like, that actually is. And also like, because I don't look my age, basically everyone's kind of like, oh, Josephine, you look 16, look 18. I'm like, thanks for the reminder that I look like a baby. But even that, I'm like, oh, I don't even feel like I'm 22. Like I'm about to step into this world and I'm just like, where am I going? What do I do? Where is life taking me? Like, and even like some people, like, even if I talk about like relationship wise, like I know some of my friends, they're kind of like, yeah, we're planning to get married like in the next year, or like looking at talking about like, oh yeah, we'll be talking about like where we're gonna live. I'm just kind of like,
I'm trying to get a job. I'm just trying to breathe.
Like,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Like honestly, it's a lot. But it's like at the same time, you need to actually be thinking about these things because obviously, like I know I'm young, but like I know my relationship. I'm like, we're both serious like candidates. Like I wouldn't get into a relationship if I was not serious candidate because I don't mess around.
We don't have time for
unserious dates. I don't have time. I don't have time. So I'm like, this is going somewhere.
Yeah.
You know,
by force, by fire. This is it. There is no going back. This is it.
Yeah. So so even like having conversations like that, I'm like, raw, like I'm actually growing up. Which I guess as much as I'm kind of like, okay, why are we having these type of conversations? I'm kind of happy that we are because I'm like, okay, like at least there's a plan. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like through life I've kind of just been like let's see where it takes me. Let's see where this takes me. I'm gonna do this. Let's like even my course, I was like, I'm just gonna do it. Let's see where it takes me. But okay, now I know what I want to do. I have a clearer vision, you know?
Yeah.
So
and has having a vision, I guess, for you, is that important for you, I guess? Because I know you sort of said you went into uni and you're like, yeah, I'll just see where this goes. And that's sort of how you've been doing. Or is it for you, it's important to be like, this is my, whether it's a vision or like my action sort of plans for your 20s or for where you are right now in life?
Yeah, I think personally for me, I'm more of a kind of, what do they say? Is it near future? Short-sighted? I don't know what it is.
What?
Like,
what?
I think I think of like in terms of like goals and stuff, yeah.
You mean short term or long term?
That's the word.
That's short-sighted, girl, that's glasses. What you
I was like, near future, short term. I don't
short-sighted, long-sighted. I mean, there's a massive do you even wear glasses? I was thinking
let's not.
Okay.
But yeah, like I feel like I'm more of like a short-term person. So I'm like, I have goals and then I'm like, cool. Like even like, do you know how people can plan like a whole week? I can't do that. I have to plan day by day because I'm like, what I do today is going to affect what happens tomorrow. You know, as much as I can plan like roughly what I want to do, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing today. The outcome of today is going to affect what happens tomorrow. And I feel like that's kind of like how I plan things. So I'm not really like, in like 10 years time, I'm gonna be this, or I'm gonna be
I'm loving the actions into the 10 years.
and I'm gonna be working on this and this and this and this. Like as much as I definitely rate these people, I'm not saying like don't do that because I'm like that's great. I'm just saying I'm not that person, but I'm kind of like I'm happy with that because I'm kind of like, I don't know, like I see myself as doing different things. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, that's why I still have that kind of mindset where like, let's see where this takes me. But at least I know what the first 5 steps are. Yeah. Then after we've done those first 5 steps, let's review what's going on next, you know? So it's like I have a plan, but I don't know what the end goal is.
I have a plan, but I don't have a plan. But yeah, I mean, I have a plan, but I don't have a plan. And you sort of touched on because you said you're 22 now. So when you were 21, because you know, like 21 seems to be one of them big significant ages for everybody. It's like 18, 21, 25. What were you sort of most excited about turning while becoming 21, and what did it actually feel like once you were actually 21?
I don't actually think I don't think I was looking forward to anything, not gonna lie.
Did you have any expectations of what life would be like for you at that age, or not really?
I don't think I did, you know. I think I was just kind of like, I think it was more just kind of like, okay, like I'm actually actually no, let me not lie. I don't think I felt anything. I think I was kind of just like, I'm turning 21.
It is what it is, yeah.
Like that's great, you know, 21, you know, it's a big age. And I feel like what do you call it? A lot of the things that people do look forward to doing at 21. I mean, what can you do at 21? Because I feel like you can do all those things at 18.
Yeah, all those things, yeah. I'll have to look.
But yeah, like I don't think there was something that I was looking forward to. But it's weird, like for example, my 21st birthday, I think that was like the best birthday I've had so far. So I don't know.
That's okay. Well, there, I guess now, because you are in your early 20s, is there anything, I guess, either before you were 20 or what you're looking forward to now, any sort of goals or milestones you've sort of put for yourself to sort of achieve in your 20s, or was there anything you were aspiring towards or looking forward to?
In my 20s.
In your 20s, or what you imagined it to be like?
It's so weird, yeah, because I feel like I'm not someone that thinks like that.
Which is fine, totally fine.
Yeah, I don't like, that's why I say like I just dwell in the season I'm in.
Yeah,
like I don't really not saying I don't look forward to things, but I'm not like, yeah, my 20s is gonna be bang bang bang, bang. No, that's not me. I think I'm just more, but I mean something I'd love to do is just, you know, travel. In order to do that, you need money. In order to get the money, I need a job.
Yeah,
so
that's your plan. You've got your solution. Get a job, get the money, then you can travel.
Yeah, so at the moment it's just like having a job that I think, yeah, especially now as I'm graduating, I think something that I'm kind of like, I definitely want to aim within my 20s. It doesn't even have to be like this in the 20s, but at least like by the time I exit my 20s, like be in a job that I enjoy and that I can, that's actually using my skill set that I've learned at uni, you know, not just a job just to pay the bills or anything like that. Like I understand that's probably how I start out, but not to lose that vision of, okay,
this is what I want. Yeah. And is there, and because I know you've got siblings like me, you've got siblings and I guess people who are sort of ahead of you in your 20s, is there anything you've seen in their lives that you sort of want to adopt when you reach their age, or something you've seen in their life where you're like, oh, I don't want to go through that or get to that point, that other thing? Does that make sense?
I think, I don't know, because for example, not to, you know, make you guys big-headed, because obviously you are my siblings, but like I actually admire you and Jonathan.
Yeah. It's all right, you can pick me up, it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, like I actually admire you and Jonathan, because like I look at you guys, I'm like, you guys are just doing such great things. And like, for example, like Jonathan, I think he's like studying to become like a full qualified accountant in it. Like he just did his something exams, I don't know what they're called, but you know, and like he's done well in them. And it's kind of just like raw, like he's still going for it. Like for me, I'm just like, why am I studying after you? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm done, I've left that thing. But he's kind of like, this is what I want to do, I'm going for it. And like he's also doing I feel like, it's both of you guys, like you guys are doing all these amazing things, and I'm just kind of like, wow, like how are you actually doing that? Do you know what I'm saying? Because like you're not even that far off from me, do you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, I'm soon going to be there. It's just like, Josephine, what are you actually doing with your life? But we'll get there. I mean,
we all feel like that, if it helps. I mean, I still feel like, what am I doing in my life? I don't know. We'll see.
But I feel like something that a lot of people that I've noticed, especially in their 20s, especially recently, that a lot of people kind of miss out on, or like that I don't want to do, is kind of what do you call it? Like forget what you've actually accomplished and forget how you've like how far you've actually come. Because I feel like, and I guess that's why I kind of think, I guess when it comes to like goals and stuff, I think that's why I think the way I think, because I don't want to be, as much as there's a goal, I don't want to be too fixated on what the goal is and not appreciate the process or appreciate the journey. And I feel like I'm
That's
always
the
like,
words of wisdom. Come on, girl.
I
Come
mean,
on,
what can I
sprinkle
say?
it.
What can I say? But I feel like even like, not to be that person, but like it
Yeah.
links with like my course. Like, for example,
Mm.
a project, like as much as like my design could look sick, it could be
Yeah.
great and whatever, but I will appreciate the process and the journey I took to get there, because I'm like, that's where all the hard work was. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, as much as the glitz and the glamour looks nice, the hard work is the journey, and like that's what you actually went through to get to your goal. And also just kind of enjoying that journey, or enjoying wherever you are, because again, because you're too fixated on like the goal, where you want to be, or where you should be, it's kind of like you're not actually enjoying your 20s as much as everyone's kind of like, yeah, 20s, enjoy them.
And I think that's good, because
them?
I think a lot of us don't really take or think a lot about like the process of what we're going through, because we're always like, I need to reach here. And I think even I feel like that sometimes. It's kind of like, well, you know, the time I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all these different things, but I still don't feel like I need to be where I'm at. And it's not till I get there that I know I'll be okay. But then I kind of feel like, even though I've reached that goal for myself, I'm still not satisfied, because I'm like, okay, now there's a new goal. Do you get what I mean? So I think it is important for us to remember to sort of live in the moment, be present, and be like, okay, cool. Like, how far have I come? What have I achieved? And so even with that, what would you say you're most proud of that you've achieved this far? And it doesn't need to be like, oh, I've written this book, or I've won this medal, I've sponsored this. Kind of like, what is it right now for you? Are you proud of? Yeah.
Right now, I'm actually proud of how far I've come in just this final year of my degree, because it's actually been it's been no joke. Like, actually just going through this year with like the pandemic and everything, and like the stress and all of that. And I'm just like, I'm actually proud of myself. Like, recently I've just been deep in, like, as much as it's been stressful, Josephine, actually like deep that you've done this.
Yeah.
Other people have dropped out. Other people have been like, I can't do this, and they've stopped. But I'm like, you're still here, despite all the tears.
I'm proud of you, Jojo. You know, I'm proud of you. You know, you know. You can hear the song right in the background, right? Come on.
But no, yeah, like, I'm actually like, Josephine, rate yourself. Like, you've actually come this far.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're doing something right, basically. And like, even like, so I was even talking to some of my course mates like the other day, and like we were saying like how graduation, it's not just even like like, thank God we're actually having a graduation, in-person graduation, but like, I'm like, that day is not just gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get my graduation photos, you know, so you can see. I'm like, that day is an actually accomplishment. Like, I've actually come 4 years into down this line, and I'm going to be graduating, as in I've completed something, and more time I've done it on my own, like, obviously with the support of people, but like, it's my work, it's my,
and that's what you can be proud of. Yeah,
especially this final year. I'm like, rah, it's really tested me.
What are you sort of looking forward to, like, after university? It doesn't have to be a job or anything like that. What are you most looking forward to finishing? Take a deep breath then.
I'm looking forward to just people, and when I say people, I'm talking about like family, like my close ones, like, well, the close ones that I call family. Like, I'm just looking forward to just doing life with them, because especially like most of my friends are like about like either the same age or like around my age. So it's kind of like just doing life with them, seeing how like where everyone goes, like all their different paths and stuff like that. I think I'm just looking forward to that, because it'll be interesting, because even like just coming from like secondary school and sixth form, like seeing the different paths that people are on already, I'm like, raw, like, who would have thought, like, from us being in year 7, and now, you know, someone's a model, someone's doing the music thing, and I'm just like, raw, okay, I see. Now. Like, we're actually living life. So I think it's just seeing where, like, this is seeing where life takes us.
Good. And if you were, let's say, if you were 30 right now, and you're looking back at 22-year-old Josephine, that got 22-year-old Josephine, right? What would you say is like, what would you either advise her, or would you say you're proud of about her? You can take your time to think. It's okay. Take your time.
What am I proud of about myself? I think I'd say keep doing what you're doing, you know, and keep true to yourself. Keep doing what you're doing it, like you're actually doing okay.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't look okay, you're doing okay. It's fine. Yeah. Like there's a way out of wherever it is. But no, yeah, like I just be true to yourself, you know. And also just look after yourself as well, you know.
Self-care is important. Come on.
Don't go breaking backs for people that, as much as you want to, sometimes it's just you've done what you can.
Yeah.
And it's okay to move on. I mean, that's something I've definitely learned now, to be honest. But I'll just remind myself of that.
That's good. And what, in one word, how would you describe your 20s so far?
What's it been? 2 years?
In 2 years, you know.
2 years. What have I said? How would I describe it? You know what? I'd say life changing, even though that's like 2 words. But let's say life hyphen changing.
Life hyphen changing is okay.
Yeah, that's not 1 word.
Yeah.
I'll say life changing.
Yeah, that's good. And finally, what sort of advice would you give to people who are either at your stage in their 20s or about to start university?
I would say the same thing I just said.
Okay, cool, great.
Honestly, just be you. And when I say enjoy it, like actually enjoy it. Yeah. Like, because it will, for example, especially uni, it will fly by. Like, how have I done 4 years of uni? That's mad. Like, enjoy it. Even if you don't do uni, enjoy whatever you do and do what you enjoy. Because I feel like, especially this generation and like the generation coming, I mean, this is my personal view, so anyone out there, you can come for me. Come for me if you want. I ain't
protecting you, sister. They come for you. I ain't protecting you. That's down to you. All right. I'm not associated with Josephine. If you come for her, you come with her on your own. Okay. Okay, great.
Come for me because I'm ready.
You're ready. You're ready. You heard her in the comments. Come for her.
I feel like this generation is very like, what do you call it? Self-made, or I need to make my monies, or like everyone needs to start a business. But I'm kind of like, you actually don't. Like, I'm very like, I'm okay to work for someone else. So that's actually me. I don't mind. I actually don't mind. I don't need that stress. I don't need it. But I'm like, honestly, do something you enjoy because you enjoy it. Yeah, just do something you enjoy because you enjoy it, and don't let other people impact your decisions on what you enjoy, because you'll end up not enjoying it.
Yeah.
Unless you truly enjoy it. So yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Words of wisdom from Jojo. Come on. Well, thank you so much, sis. It's been so fun actually interviewing you, you know. I think maybe we'll do a bit more of this, you know, and then maybe we'll make a little debut. You know what I'm talking about? Our debut singer. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm not a singer.
Watch out, guys. Watch out. Yeah, we are singers.
I sing. I'm not a singer.
We're both singers, right?
I sing, but I'm not a singer.
I swear you dance as well, Josephine.
I dance, but I'm not a dancer.
Okay, cool. So Josephine's a dancer and a singer, guys. If you want to follow her singing and her dancing, please follow her on Instagram. You get it wrong. You actually do have an arts page, right? What is it? What's it called? Josie Creates, right? I'm shouting you out, guys. Follow Josie.
That's not even right. That's not even right. But it's because it's just not. I mean, if you want to follow, you can, but it's actually not by force. It's just for me to show my progress of my work. So if you want to see it, go ahead. Because
she's actually a great designer, guys. All future interior and architecture designers out there, please follow her, please. We're trying to get you a job, fam. This is what this is for. We're getting you a job, okay? So guys, please, if anybody out there is listening and you're an interior architecture designer or anything like that, visual merchandise, right? Please, this girl's amazing. And check out her work, because we need to get her a graduate job. So that'd be great. Thank you very much. Well, thank you so much, sis. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening, and we hope to see you soon.
Yeah, man, I'll be home soon.
Hope so. All right.